I first videographer slash photographer worked with me. I found him on Kijiji. He was 18, 19 years old when I first started my agency 4 years ago. And I would get a project. I'm a salesperson.
Okay.
We did about 1,000 jobs of photography and videography in 3 years. I don't know how to use a camera.
Right. Yeah.
But I know how to get the client. I know how to close the client. I know how to deliver and make the client happy, feel happy about this product. Even if there's a little bit of mistake, I will help him not to see it. So the product is right there. He's so happy with it, and they're just happy. So I'm very good with delivery and with sales.
And that's the value that you add in that role.
Yeah.
And that's your unique aspect in this. And though you're the owner, it doesn't mean that you have to do everything. And I always found that if one of my employees could do something I'm doing, I would delegate it.
Exactly.
And I would focus on the things that I'm uniquely qualified in the business to do. And it also ends up giving you a lot more time to grow the business and expand into new ventures.
Exactly. So this guy, we hired them $100 a video, something like this. And I would just tell him, I want this video to look like this. That's my vision, blah, blah, blah. Tomorrow we're going to shoot for the client. That's a new client. Please, let's do a good job. This guy would go on YouTube, watch a couple videos. He's raised by a single mother. He takes care of his siblings and his mother and comes back, do a job, impress me, impress the clients. We worked for about 2.5 years together. He was as a subcontractor, always refused to be an employee. I always tried to lock him down because I knew he's good.
Right.
And like first ever real estate client we had, I called him. I'm like, hey, we have a real estate client. I think I can get into this market. I think I can get 100 clients in 1 year. I just need one good job. He did the good job. We end up with 70 clients in 1 year. Now he has his own company. Man, like every time I see him, I want to hug him. Now, every once in a while I message him. I'm like, man, I'm so happy for you. And I do really wish everyone can get there. There's one thing I say. I do not want to own a company where I'm driving a Bentley and the doorman in this company is struggling to pay the mortgage.
Right. Yeah.
I always tell all of my employees, all of my team, every time I renew my car, I want you to renew yours.
Yeah.
I'll show you how. Tell me you want to make more money and I'll show you how. And I ask a question in every interview. Do you like money? If they say no, I don't hire them. If you work because you're just passionate about it, that's bullshit. It's just like, you need to love the money.
I disagree with you on that.
You need the passion. But if in these days you don't like seek the money and know how to outsmart the money and really hold on to money and make it and invest it and really be careful with it.
It depends what you're looking for. Okay, so you're thinking like a salesman, you know, and I'm going to use a slightly derogatory term,
that's
but,
okay.
But salesmen are
blunt.
coin operated.
Coin operated.
They're coin operated.
Okay.
What you'll find, for example, is there are some people who it very much is about their passion and what they want to do, but they just need to make enough money. And this is why, if you take a look at it from an HR perspective, people are often saying that the HR specialist will tell you that money is not really a motivator for most people. It can in the short term, but ultimately it's what they call a hygiene factor, which is you need to pay people sufficiently that it's not a problem, right? But if you pay them a lot more, it doesn't necessarily motivate them. So they must believe in the mission of what they're doing. They must believe in what their work is, and they must enjoy it.
Well, what's the minimum that they need to make? By example, the stress that we're going through these days, I think every employee, like you're passionate, you're an artist, right? How can you create things if you're struggling with every other aspect in your life? You have to be healthy in other stuff, physically, mentally, and, you know, financially. So if you can't pay your mortgage, if you can't drive a car to get to work, you're taking the bus, taking you 2 hours, waiting in the rain. If you can't take 2 vacations a year to take a break and reset, then you can't really create all the time.
That's right, but that's why it's called a hygiene factor. So you need enough money so that you're comfortable.
But the hygiene these days is expensive. Like count those, mortgage, a car, 2 vacations a year. You need to love money to be able to make enough money to do all those. Lots of people I know, they take vacation every 3 years, man. Some people in 17 years didn't take a vacation. So to take 2 a year, to drive a car and to buy a house and pay a mortgage, that's a lot of money these days. So if I hire an employee, I'm just passionate, I want to do it. Trust me, Christian, we have also in another business, we have about 40 employees. They don't actually work hard and show up with so much passion until they're like struggling to pay the bills. So like for 2 months they work less hours, and then they come back, give me more hours, and they're doing 10 times better because they need the money.
Yep.
They need to pay the bill. They need the lifestyle.
Because they don't have the minimum hygiene factor in there. Right?
Yes.
So I think we're saying the same thing, right? What we need to define is what that threshold is. And that threshold is different for everybody, but it's often based on peer comparators. If you are, let's say an engineer going into an engineering firm, right? I'll tell you, a lot of engineers are really just focused on the craft, right? They enjoy it, but they want to be paid reasonably well. They'd love to be paid a lot, right? Who wouldn't? But then they compare against their peers. So, they're only going to get upset when they find out that somebody else who's doing something similar is getting paid a lot better, okay? Or they think they're doing the same thing. So part of managing it is figuring out where that baseline is and then making sure that people are treated fairly in a process associated with that. You need to give them enough money to be comfortable, right? So can you give them more? Sure. Does it necessarily motivate them? Not necessarily. Does it make you feel good? Probably, okay? But they're not all the same things.
Agreed. Agreed. So I have lots of multiple questions I want to ask you later. But let's touch base on the tax breaks.
Oh, tax breaks.
So
I'll preface this, though, that I'm not an accountant. I'm a business professional.
You are not. Exactly. So. You're a business professional. You're a professional investor.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about some tax tips for real estate investors or not? Because
we absolutely can.
Maybe the biggest thing you mentioned it: don't sell, refinance, and use this money tax free.
Yeah. I mean, that's an easy one, right? Because fundamentally, when you do the refinance, it's not a taxable event. At least the government hasn't figured out how to tax you yet on that kind of stuff. But there's other things that people can do. One of the things that a lot of people
Give me two.
Sure. Well, one of the things that people ask me is like, should I incorporate or not incorporate? So should I put my real estate holdings in a corporation? And that is often a complicated answer depending on where you are and what your long-term objectives are. But you start off with the basic fact that when you put real estate inside a corporation, the profits associated with that corporation are taxed at a rate of 50%. That's the formula. The CRA views it as a passive income, and they feel you're not actually working for it. And
so they want to take the half.
Right. So good accountants, what they'll do is they say, okay, well, when you have enough revenue, that it's now being taxable, they'll recognize the fact that there is active management with it. So what do? You set up an active management company to manage the real estate portfolio, and you charge those corporations a fee.
You're paying yourself a salary.
Yeah. And as it turns out, small business tax rate, if that's where you're at, is 12.2%. Now you have to pay HST on the services that you're charging those other companies, but you're still at about a 25% tax bracket versus 50%. And that 13% is often offset by, input tax credits as well. So it's not actually as damaging as it sounds.
No.
So there's a variety of ways. I mean, CRA really tries to get their money as much as possible. The other aspect there is if you think you're going to grow your business to more than 5 employees, right? Well, now you're viewed as an investment business and you're not viewed as a passive business anymore either. So we get taxed differently. We get taxed at a corporate rate at that point. But it's tricky when you first make that transition. And that's why I always ask people, well, where do you want to take this? Because if you're only going to collect, 7, 8 doors, somewhere around that, it may not make sense for you to incorporate, at least not for tax reasons. There may be liability reasons that you want to protect, but not for tax reasons.
So your company gets sued, not yourself.
Yeah. So
if something happens.
Exactly. The two reasons people put real estate in a corporation is one is at scale, you do get tax efficiencies. Right. So as I was explaining, if you just do 7 or 8 doors, you may never get enough momentum to make.
You sure you're not an accountant?
Are
you sure you're not an accountant? I have an accountant. He doesn't explain this stuff like this.
I'm just a good businessman. My accountant and I have a lot of deep conversations, and like I said before, I love learning. So I can tell you, my professionals, right, that I hired, my lawyers, my accountants, whatever it happens to be that I'm dealing with. I've learned through the years that I need to be at least 70 to 80% proficient on what they're doing. I will never be the expert that they will be, right? And I trust them completely, but I also know how to debate with them and challenge them and find out what the real answers are. So as a friend of mine said, I was dealing with the same accountant as you and I'm not getting the same kinds of answers. And then he said to me, I realized the difference is that you can have an intelligent discussion with them and debate them and challenge them so that they're giving you better answers. And that's really important, right? If you want to get the best out of people, even the people that worked for me, we were talking before, even though I set objectives, etc., with that, they know that I know not exactly what they do, but I know a lot about what they do, right? Enough that I can challenge what they're doing and get them to do better.
So you really brings the best out of everyone.
Well, I try. I hope it brings the best out of me
I
sometimes,
know you
too.
want to be humble, but it's really like you brings the best out of everyone. So do you have like, other than objectives and the big words, do you have
Sure.
like 1 or 2 psychological tips? How can you bring the best out of everyone? Because I think you always seek this. I think
Yeah.
like you personally enjoy bettering people's life or improving them or like seeing them excelling more just because they had a conversation with you. Are you passionate about teaching, about helping?
I like to see people succeed. That's really what it is. And so I get a lot of energy out of seeing other people succeed. And if I can be part of getting them there, it makes me happy. Okay. Whether it has any immediate returns to me is immaterial. It may, but I kind of believe in karma. So these things all kind of work out in the end. I'm going to try and be a little bit funny about this, but, remember scenes of The Godfather, right? And The Godfather, the guy came to The Godfather with a problem in the very first movie, right? And it had to do with a relationship with his daughter, and he didn't like this guy. And he asked The Godfather to handle it for him. And Godfather says, I'll take care of this, right? And the guy says, what can I do in return? How much can I pay you? And he says, it's a favor, right? Someday in the future, I may need a favor. So there's a bit of that, and it's The Godfather was very deliberate about it. I'm not. Okay, I'm very much. I'm very much about helping somebody, and when you do that for someone, they'll do it for someone else as well, and you never know how that might come around.
Great circle.
So
Great circle.
inevitably, I found that it does come back.
Like 2 tips too. I just like the number 2 today.
You like the number 2 today?
2
Okay.
tips, and I want you to give me psychological tips. How can you actually help someone, brings the best out of someone? I get it. As employees, you gotta set objectives, goals, support them, find out what they're doing wrong, give them the tools, don't fix it for them, etc. But let's say you met someone at an event. You really want to help them. They don't work for you. Is there like 2-3 questions you ask them, you make them realize that they can do better, or what is it that you do? I'm sure you have a secret.
Well, it's a great question because I'm not very deliberate about it. Okay, so what you see is what you get. Okay, I'm not, are there tricks? Absolutely. Are they things that I do deliberately because I'm thinking about doing it? No. Okay, is it part of my personality? Yes. I imagine I've learned these traits over time, but when I approach someone, it's with genuine curiosity. I'm usually interested in listening to them and understanding who they are first. I'm self-made. Okay, I don't really need any more money. I don't really need any more ego or anything like that.
You have a lot.
So, I've done well for myself, right? So I'm fortunate.
You earned it.
I earned it. Yeah, absolutely I did, right? But I still consider myself fortunate because it's a combination of luck and effort, right? In reality, you need
luck.
both. Absolutely, there's luck involved.
So you believe in luck?
Yes.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
luck karma or luck?
I like the way Neville Ravikant actually defines luck, right? Because I find that it really resonates very well.
That's a
for
good
me.
topic.
Okay.
I haven't talked about it before.
Okay. So,
Hit me.
Okay. And I think you might enjoy his book, okay? He didn't actually write it. It's a series of tweets and quotes and stuff like that somebody else has compiled into a bit of...
Is it on Audible? Because I don't read.
Yeah, I believe so.
Perfect.
Okay.
Try to find it on Audible. I hate reading, man. When I see page full of words, I get stressed out. I can't read. Last night, my GM sent me a PDF that I had to review.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, you're reading it for me tomorrow. I'm not going to read it.
He defines 4 types of luck. There's just random luck, okay? So something happens, you get lucky, and you keep going with it. Second type is you hustle hard, and so you uncover luck. So as you work it and you try and find things and you're trying to do things, the luck is always there, but now because you're hustling, you're able to find more luck than other people. The third type of luck is when you recognize it. Okay, so often luck is happening all around you all the time, but you don't have the filters set right to be able to recognize when an opportunity is in front of you. Okay? So call it an opportunity or call it luck, right? But the opportunity was luckily brought before you, but now you're attuned to it, so you see it that other people don't. And then the fourth kind of luck is where people know you have the ability to do something, they get lucky, and then they come to you with their luck in order to be able to, progress it and make it happen. I really like the way he defined that, right? I think it's actually very, very clever way of thinking of it, because some of us just do get lucky. Some of us work hard and hustle, and we do get lucky on that side. But then when you learn a lot about it, and when you become very experienced, and you're very experienced at your craft, you will see things that other common people won't see, because you're attuned to it and you're going to see new opportunities. And then once you get to be, the superstar JC that everybody really knows across Canada, you're getting there, my friend. You're getting there. You're getting there. So, but on a national basis, then people are going to say, I need to bring the opportunity to JC. I found that the way Naval Ravikant said that, to me, resonated very well, because I see pretty much opportunities that way. So if we get back to properties, for example, sometimes you get lucky and find a good deal, right? And anybody who's ever looked for a good real estate opportunity knows how hard it is, okay? And if you look at it from the first perspective, it's like, well, sometimes you just get lucky. My very first purchase was luck. It wasn't quite pure luck, but it was close to it. The second time, though, right, was very much about working hard and hustling and then finding the deals out there. But you got to work your networks. You got to find out, who's doing what. I've been at the level easily for a while now where I can recognize opportunities. So you go to a deal, right, and you'll have people who will say, this is too hard. I don't want to do this. This doesn't make any sense. I can't see a business case associated with it. And I'll look at it and I'll say, I get it completely. I can see how I'm going to make money on it.
So you're lucky because you can see the opportunity.
That's right. I'm at that third level I was talking about, right? So I'll give you an example.
It's a really funny way to define opportunities and karma. You're lucky to see that you have an opportunity.
Exactly.
It can be positive, but it can also make people wait for the luck to come to them too, right?
Yeah. But I'll give you a concrete example. So there was a portfolio of buildings that I bought just over a year ago. And the guys that had it originally, they had it under contract. They were going to do it. They could not figure out how they were going to make money on it. They didn't have the confidence to do it. But this is kind of where part 4 comes in, is they knew of me. So they call me up and they said, I've got this opportunity, right? But I don't know what to do with it. Maybe you're interested in it and we'll assign you the contract.
Nice.
Okay? But now I'll take a look at the opportunity and all I can see is money. I know exactly how I'm going to make money out of this. I'm going to have an internal rate of return, an IRR, in excess of 45% on this over 5 years. And to me, that's really good money. And I'm going to, not only that, but when I bought it, it cash flowed. Okay. It added, at the time that I bought it, $70,000 of cash flow into our business on the moment of acquisition.
Wow.
Okay? That's after all expenses. And you know what? I was going to be able to double, triple, quadruple that amount over the next 4 or 5 years, right, to add that into our business. And as we talked about before, increase the value of the building. So for me, I saw it clear as day. And I said, can I come see this building right now? I just want to make sure that it looks as good in real life as it does on paper. So we got it there. I took a look at it. It had a few little wrinkles in it, etc., but that's okay. It was well within the margins. And I took that assignment deal and I closed on it at the height of all the purchasing frenzy during the late part of the pandemic when everybody was going crazy and buying stuff. I bought something that added cash flow to my business. I did not overbuy, and it was because of that third and fourth level of luck that I was talking about. The ability to recognize the opportunity when others couldn't, and the fact that somebody brought me the opportunity, and I didn't have to go look for it.
I'm going to listen to this guy's book. We're enjoying this conversation so much, we're shifting out of the topic. Let's go back to how can you bring the best out of someone. 2 tips. First one, you listen to them. You actually try to understand of what they want and who they really are. That's what you said, and then we shifted to luck.
Yeah, and Stephen Covey had a good way of stating that, right? He said, first seek to understand and then be understood. Everybody is in a rush to get their opinion out, Okay, I've already got this preconceived notion. I'm going to tell you, and this is what I expect. But what you need to do, and this is hard to learn, right, for all of us, especially dynamic individuals like myself and you, right? We're just go-getters all the time. So the first thing we're thinking about is you have to listen to me. You have to know what we're doing. Important piece of it is to understand the other person's perspective. Okay, part of it is you're going to learn something. There's almost no doubt you're going to find something. But even if you don't, right, they've been heard. Now they're receptive to listening to you. You gave them the opportunity first to talk. Okay, they've got their opinion out. They've said what they have to say. Now you have context as well. You can phrase your opinion in their context. So now you're more convincing. You're not talking at somebody. You're talking with them. Okay, and if somebody feels they've been heard and you're rephrasing things in a context they're familiar with, they're more likely to listen and be receptive.
That's awesome. I'm listening to you now. Okay.
So,
Still, I didn't get the butter. You want to help them
yes,
to bring the best out of them.
that's right.
Now you listen to them. You give them your opinion.
Yep.
Do you follow up?
I also
Do you-
listen to their opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, and we've worked something out together. And of course you do follow up on that kind of stuff. So why did you have the conversation in the first place? So when I'm networking, I'm usually trying to understand where the person's coming from, because maybe there's some way that I can add value to their lives, right? Maybe there isn't, right? Or maybe I know somebody who can add value to their lives. It's very much about
So
listening.
you connect them.
If you're all about broadcasting your thing, if you're going in heavy from a sales perspective and you're just saying, this is what it is, this is what I sell, this is who I am, you're just kind of hoping somebody picks up on it. It's like you're not fishing with bait, right? So
That's right.
Yeah.
You're chasing, you're not seducing.
Yeah.
Let's get to the multiple choice questions. Sorry.
Okay.
I stepped on your beautiful shoes. Oh my
Thank you,
God.
like that.
That's beautiful
got
shoes.
those from Argentina.
Argentina.
Yeah.
Really nice. I need to improve my shoes business.
It's quite a compliment coming from you, JC. So,
The multiple choice questions.
Okay.
So you have to answer those very blunt.
uh-huh.
And
And they're literally multiple choice.
You have to
So
pick.
there's no gray.
Yeah, exactly. You have to pick one option.
Okay.
It's like the 60%, the
Uh-huh.
51%. Okay?
I see. Okay.
What makes you rich? Money, knowledge, or happiness?
Knowledge.
Why did you start your business? Lack of job opportunities, to prove something, follow your dream.
Closest would be following a dream.
So you're saying it's a bit of those three?
No, there were other motivators.
Money to me is a protection, a weapon, or a bridge.
Oh, it's definitely a bridge.
I'm successful because I was patient, I was impatient, or in between.
I'm impatient.
I love it. I love it.
I don't think you expected that answer from me, because I come across as very patient.
Very patient.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I'm understanding. Now I'm really getting the energy from you when you're talking, and I'm really looking in your eyes when you're talking. And I see the I see the fire
Yeah.
in your eyes, Christian.
Yeah.
If I could go back, I would invest my money in real estate, on myself, by like coaching, mentoring, getting more people to mentor you, or crypto and stocks.
I would invest in myself first, honestly. And because then you learn how to do all the other things more efficiently. And that was my mistake. I didn't learn these things of investment until much later. I would have been more efficient. So that's why I chose that one.
Do you give back, yes or no?
100%.
Are you a strict boss? Flexible, strict, or asshole?
No, I'm
Not an asshole, we know.
I'm firm but fair.
Firm but fair.
Yeah.
Political party. You pick one.
Good question. I'm a centrist.
Is this a political party?
No, I'm a centrist. No, the
I
problem.
asked for a political party,
I
Christian.
know the problem is there's no centrist party at the moment.
So you don't vote.
I do vote. So in the last election, I voted for the Conservatives, right? And in this election, we will see.
We will see. Does your business affect your life? Yes, it's my whole life. No, I have a balance.
It's my life. I enjoy what I do. To me, it's fun every day. Okay? So I don't think of it as work versus play.
Does it affect on your life balance with your wife, kids, your responsibilities as a father and a husband?
No, I have that balance for sure.
Awesome. Work hard or work
Because
smart?
I'll tell you, I love my daughters, right? And my wife, and I will make sure that We
I
do
see you when you're
everything.
around them, man. You're treating them like queens.
Absolutely.
Introducing them, we
Yeah.
treat them like queens, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Work hard or work smart?
Work smart.
Would you rather deal with clients or team?
It's a good question. Clients.
These are all my favorite questions. That's for me. So I'm getting free coached today. So you said there's other motivators than following a dream.
Hmm.
You said this is the closest.
Yeah.
What are your other motivators?
Sometimes life puts things in front of you that force you to make the decisions that you need to make. So I won't be shy about it. My older daughter had significant mental health issues, still does to some degree, but she's largely okay now. And she needed me at home. And my previous career was taking me abroad all the time. So I was traveling the world, etc. And I enjoyed doing that. But my daughter needed me. So that made me pivot towards focusing on our investment business as a priority, because it gave me the freedom, going back to your balance question, it gave me the freedom and the balance to make sure that I take care of her as a priority. She would be all that she could be. It was necessary, and I'm really happy that I ended up doing that. And as a side effect, I had put focus on my business at the same time, and my business thrived. But it fit our lifestyle better in the end.
That's
and
amazing.
now my daughters are part of my business.
That's great.
So
That's
when we're
great.
talking about balance of family, my wife is in the business, my two daughters are in the business as well.
Does this make things challenging? I guess you would say no, but do you think, like, would you advise someone to, like, partner up with their wife at work and at home?
If it's compatible. My wife and I are actually, we have mutually beneficial strengths, and we know how to not step on each other's toes. So because we're complementary.
Were
it
you like
works.
this, or you learned how to be like this?
I think we've largely been this way.
Okay.
Right, but we've been married over 30 years, so she's learned to put up with a lot of stuff from me, and I've learned to put up with stuff from her. Having my daughters in the business has been more challenging because the separation between boss and father is very difficult. And
And expectations too. You expect them to be the second Christian, right?
no.
No?
They need to be who they need to be. But the reason they're in the business is they have an interest. And second is because I have to prepare a succession plan to train them on how to take this over. Otherwise, I might as well just cash out because they're not going to know what to do with the money anyway, right? So we have to train them to make sure that they know how to handle this type of a business, right, when I'm long and gone. So if I don't prepare, it's not just about wills, right? It's not just about efficient transition and taxation. It's also about preparing the next generation to be able to handle what you've been doing. If you were to just, inherit a ton of money all of a sudden, most people, right, not you, JC, because I think you'd be smarter than this, but most people would struggle with having a lot of cash. They wouldn't know what to do with it.
I'll just buy suits.
You buy, yeah. But people will tend to make mistakes because they haven't been trained on how to do it. I mean, I had to train myself to get to where I am. So my daughters aren't going to get there accidentally. They need to learn to know how to do this. And that's what I'm doing. That's part of my succession planning.
What is an advice you want to give to the new generation? Fresh graduates in school, graduated 5 years ago, and I'm working and I'm hustling and making some money, but I'm not getting anywhere.
Figure out how to add value and the money will come. Okay, whether it's in the job, but I would look outside of the job. Honestly, if you're cut out for entrepreneurship, if you think you even have a small bone of entrepreneurship, exercise that bone. Get there. Do something. Figure out how you can add a bit of value. And you'll be shocked and surprised just how much money is lying on the ground waiting for you to pick it up. It's there. Now you just need to create the opportunity.
That's a hit video. That's a hit video. I love it. Put the timestamps there. The way he said it, like the evil tone. There's lots of money on the ground for you to pick it up. I'm like, I love it.
Yeah. It's waiting for you to pick it up. All you need to do is just add some value, right? And the money is there. It's coming in. Don't give up. Just push. Just keep pushing. It's going to happen, right? It's one of the things that I learned later in life. It's the truth, right? The money is there, and you just have to add value, and the money will come.
That's amazing. Okay. Any question for us, or we call it a day?
No, I think I've actually got to get to a job site this afternoon.
I know. Thank you, honestly. Thank you for accepting to come on a very short notice. And I learned so much. Lots of technicals, lots of lessons about life from you. I hope the audience learned so many lessons as well. And I hope to see you here again soon.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. This was fun. Thank you, JC.